having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating. New systems, new expectations, new skills. If you've been disappointed by education before, you might wonder, is this going to be different? Yes. This isn't just information, it's transformation through skill. You're about to build things, learn how systems work, and develop the competence that makes employers take you seriously. And makes you take yourself seriously. You didn't choose a place that's playing games. You chose a place built on excellence, legacy, and the future. So again, welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence. We're honored you're here. Take your time, learn the system, ask questions, do the work, and most importantly, believe again. With the right training, the right standard, and the right support, you're going to look back and realize this was the moment. You stopped hoping for change and started building it. Welcome to GSE, where excellence begins. Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating. New systems, new expectations, new skills. If you've been disappointed by education before, you might wonder, is this going to be different? Yes. This isn't just information, it's transformation through skill. You're about to build things, learn how systems work, and develop the competence that makes employers take you seriously. And makes you take yourself seriously. You didn't choose a place that's playing games. You chose a place built on excellence, legacy, and the future. So again, welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence. We're honored you're here. Take your time, learn the system, ask questions, do the work, and most importantly, believe again. With the right training, the right standard, and the right support, you're going to look back and realize this was the moment. You stopped hoping for change and started building it. Welcome to GSE, where excellence begins. Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating. New systems, new expectations, new skills. If you've been disappointed by education before, you might wonder, is this going to be different? Yes. This isn't just information, it's transformation through skill. You're about to build things, learn how systems work, and develop the competence that makes employers take you seriously. And makes you take yourself seriously. You didn't choose a place that's playing games. You chose a place built on excellence, legacy, and the future. So again, welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence. We're honored you're here. Take your time, learn the system, ask questions, do the work, and most importantly, believe again. With the right training, the right standard, and the right support, you're going to look back and realize this was the moment. You stopped hoping for change and started building it. Welcome to GSE, where excellence begins. Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating. New systems, new expectations, new skills. If you've been disappointed by education before, you might wonder, is this going to be different? Yes. This isn't just information, it's transformation through skill. You're about to build things, learn how systems work, and develop the competence that makes employers take you seriously. And makes you take yourself seriously. You didn't choose a place that's playing games. You chose a place built on excellence, legacy, and the future. So again, welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence. We're honored you're here. Take your time, learn the system, ask questions, do the work, and most importantly, believe again. With the right training, the right standard, and the right support, you're going to look back and realize this was the moment. You stopped hoping for change and started building it. Welcome to GSE, where excellence begins. Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to...
Hey, everybody. So good to see everyone here in class. Make sure you drop your name for attendance. And we got an incredible class today. We're going to review cables. So cabling is remarkably important. Last week's class was on cables, and I taught extensively on cables. So make sure you go back and review last week's class. But I want to jump into cables this week again. And if we're able to, a little bit in production. We're going to pull up that Pro Tools file from last week, and we're going to do that as well. So we're going to teach on cables, and then we'll take maybe a 5-minute break. Then we'll hop into the session and go over some editing, and then maybe take a 2-minute break, and then we'll come back if there's time and do some production. So excited to see everyone here in the class. I'm gonna come over here to my little dual screen here where we have our production over here. But so happy to see everyone here in class. Actually, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna switch where my screen All right, I'm going to switch where my screen is and where the other screen is. So it looks like I'm looking, so this is our audio video class. So I'm going to teach you something here. So it looks like I'm looking off into the distance. I'm actually looking to my right, but from your point of view, it looks like I'm looking to the left and away from the screen, which may be a little weird. So I'm going to just move the screen over here. Then I'm going to move my camera to the right. And now it looks like I'm looking, adjust the size of that. Now it looks like I'm looking at the camera. I'm looking at what you're looking at. And to the brain, it just makes a little more sense. Because now it looks like I'm looking at what you're looking at. And so a little trick there. All right. So now if I look at this screen, it looks back like I'm looking at something else, but mostly I'll be looking at this screen, which has the comments, and then the screen over here, which looks like I'm looking at you, but it's actually the slides themselves. All right, so a little behind the scenes movie magic, if you will. So good to see everyone. Welcome May and Jana to class. Hello, Jalissa, Margaret, Stephanie, Amberly, and everyone else. Make sure you put your name in so I can get you for attendance. But welcome everyone to class. Okay, so this class is a blended class of in-person folks, online folks, and online and in-person folks. So we will, so this will apply, this announcement will apply for our in-person blended folks, but will not apply to our online only folks. Okay, because we have people at different places in the pipeline. So for our in-person folks, this is the only course where we have our in-person folks and our online folks blended together, and it's because of the nature of this class. So this does not apply to our online only folks, but it does apply to our in-person folks. Okay, so for our in-person folks, this course has been blended, which means sometimes we're in person, sometimes we are online. That will continue. A vast majority of the time we will be online. However, like we did last Saturday, we met at St. Luke's Baptist and we wired up that system, and that was awesome. Great job. They messaged me back and said, great job. Matter of fact, 2 of the members of St. Luke's have joined our online class and signed up, and they are enrolled, and they are here with us today. If you want to give them some love or some hearts or however y'all do it on, hearts, or however y'all do it, go ahead and give them some love. Apparently they loved what we did so much, they joined and enrolled. So that is absolutely awesome. So for our in-person class, we will continue to be blended in this class. And I know some of you take multiple classes, but for this class, for our in-person folks, this is going to continue to be blended. We're going to be online a good bit of the time, but we will still go out and do projects, and we will still meet and do things. Take that, know that we'll be doing it both ways. All right, so it's a blended class. I mean, sometimes we'll be online. Majority of the time we'll be online, but we'll still meet in person and do projects and do different things. Also, for our in-person people, one reason that we are leaning more online is because we have people at kind of every end of the spectrum in this class. This class is such a beautiful and unique class and popular class. We have people that were driving in from Austin and San Marcos to get in here. And then we have people that didn't have a car at all, that were bussing and bumming rides to get to class. And it just made this kind of amalgamation of both ends of the spectrum all in this class. We lean more to doing online just so our drivers from other cities didn't have to drive so much, and our bus takers didn't have to bus so much, just to make it a little smoother for all of the people that are all over Texas and all over San Antonio that are in this class. And because, once you miss 9 days, you don't pass, right? So we had some folks, due to one reason or another, getting close to that 9-day mark. So this helps a good bit of the students with that as well. We also decided to remove 3 absences. So if you are a person that were getting close to that 9-day mark and like, oh, I'm going to fail because I got 9 absences. If you're a person that getting close, as we go back from Canvas, because we're moving from Canvas back to everything is going to be in the digital classroom, just like our online students. If you're online, all you know is the digital classroom. But for our in-person students, they had a digital classroom with the groups where we put our YouTube links and stuff for our homework. And then they had Canvas. So if all of your grades and stuff in Canvas, all of that stuff is going to be transported into the digital classroom. Your homework, like today, you're going to make a video and you're going to explain cables and routing. That's your homework today. You can do it in Facebook and tag me in it, or you can do it on YouTube and just post your YouTube link into the groups, into the discussion in the groups, and I will review it there. But as we're transitioning everything back to the GSC app and GSC website platform, the GSC platform, as we're doing that, we're also offering grace, and we're moving 3 of those absences. So wherever you are, if you have 1 absences, now you have 0 absences. If you had 3, now you have 0. If you had 5, now you only have 2. So we're removing 3 absences from everyone, and as a way to help those who have maybe missed from something out of their control. But it goes to not just those few, it goes to everyone. Alrighty. So hopefully that is clearer than mud. So if you had all 3 absences are being removed. For online people, this doesn't affect you at all. For in-person people, this course was blended. It's still blended, but we're going to be more online than in person. We'll probably only be in person for projects. Alrighty. So, all right, I see everybody. See you, Dr. Horn. Alrighty. So welcome everybody. So let's hop into this. I want to go over cable. So let me make sure you dive into last week's lesson. If you have any questions. But I want to review signal flow again. I know we reviewed it before. Like I said, you can go just to last week, but I want to review it again because, and if you missed last week, you can just go in and watch it, of course. But this is so critical. Now for our in-person folks that was at St. Luke's, you already know we had tubs and tubs of cables. We had balanced cables, unbalanced cables, 1/4-inch cables, HDMI cables, fiber optic cables, XLR to balanced cables. We had a little bit of everything. So you will see a little bit of everything here, and we're going to review everything. One question, we got questions says, oh, do we have another lesson? For the in-person course, we were doing all of this cable stuff in person. For the online course, they were doing it via video, pre-recorded video. Yes, tons and tons and tons of cable. And once again, make sure you put your name in there. So I got it. Yeah, Jonah said yes, all of the cables. All of the cables is right. Tons and tons of cables. So I just want to make sure we go through cables and connections, because you're going to see a test very soon again on cables and connections, and we need to know it. And as you guys will be graduating as audio video engineers, you need to be able to grab any cable at any time and be able to plug it in. Even just for me to talk to you, I actually have a really cool little setup here because I have a lavalier mic here. I don't know if you can see it right here. And this lavalier mic, normally lavaliers go to mini XLR, or they go to 1/4-inch or 1/8 of an inch. Normally like an 1/8 of an inch cable, right? But this lavalier is special. This lavalier actually goes to a full out XLR mic cable. So it's very, very cool setup, very unique. The only one I think I've ever seen like this is mine. And it's nothing, I mean, you can order these off Amazon, but it's very cool little setup. Specifically, I use it specifically for and exclusively for what I'm doing right now when I'm doing the live streams. Okay, and I do a lot of them during the week. Matter of fact, I have roughly 16 hours of classes and live streams today. So that started at roughly 7 something this morning. All righty. So, and it's great for that. And we might use it for a little bit of recording today in Pro Tools as well. All right. Without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into audio and cables. All righty. So once again, a quick recap, and we're going to blow through this because in person, we did this in person, and online, you had this last week. So I'm going to blow through this pretty quickly, but I just want you to have it in your minds. Okay. So balance cables. Type this in the chat. And remember, you want to participate. Participation grade is a thing. Type this in the chat. Get to balanced. I cannot say this enough. Get to balanced. Type this in the chat. It will save your life. Get to balance. When we were wiring things up last week, there was places where, hey, why doesn't this sound off? Why doesn't this sound? Some things were balanced, some things were unbalanced. We were like, we got to get this system balanced. We got to get to balance. And soon we'll be going back, or whenever they get some amps, we'll go back and we'll rewire it up stereo because their whole house is mono. And that's going to be super cool when we get to go back and do rewire for it to be stereo. Okay, get to balance. Type that in. Get to balance. Get to balance. Stephanie said, get to balance. I don't know I got to try to remember all of your names. It's easy when your name is your handle, but when your name is not your handle, I have to try to scroll up to see what your handle is. But get to balance. User MS8 says get to balance. Amberly says get to balance. Get to balance. Whatever your system is, guys, I cannot stress this enough. Get to balance. Save yourself so much headache. Stronger signal, grounded signal, less likelihood, not zero likelihood, but less likelihood of hum, buzz, RF interference. Okay, that's May. Hey, May. Just get to balance. If you've ever went to a venue and it's just, and you just have this crazy hum or buzz, something is unbalanced, something's off. It's either going to be something's unbalanced and should be balanced, or they're plugged into an electrical outlet that has like some type of EMF interference or some EF or RF interference there, and that's causing the buzz in the amplifiers. But either way, get to balance. It's going to cut down trouble. How do you get to balance? By doing a tip ring sleeve instead of a tip sleeve, by doing XLR. XLR is going to give you balanced signal. That's what that third prong is for. And balance is literally electricity. All of these analog wires are electricity. You do have SPDIF, fiber optics, and AES EBU, which are digital. SPDIF can use RCA cables, analog RCA cables, but it'll transmit a digital signal over the copper. SPDIF is light pipe, which is literally light fiber optics, like what comes to your home for internet if you have fiber optics. It's literally light pulses. And then AES-BU uses an XLR mic cable to transmit a digital signal. So RCA, light, and XLR, but they're just the cable, the actual signal is digital. And all of those, you don't have to worry about balance or imbalance because it doesn't work that way. It's not a balanced or unbalanced signal. It's a digital signal. So it's ones and zeros. Okay. So you have, anytime you're talking about a connection, you have what the end of that connection is. You actually have the cable that's carrying the signal, and then you have the technology. For example, we all, I won't say we all, a lot of people probably don't remember RJ11. So what is RJ11? It's phone cable. Back when houses had phones. If you remember when houses had telephones that you plugged in, type telephone in the chat. Go ahead and type telephone in the chat. If you remember when houses had literal telephones, type that in the chat. Telephone. I'm curious to see how many people remember when houses had phones. So you had the little copper line. That was the cable. The connection on the end was called RJ11. And then you had some type of telecom technology. All right. May says she remembers telephones. Stephanie says she remembers, the landline. That's right, Stephanie, the landline. Amberly says she remembers telephone. I'm shocked you remember telephones, Amberly. You may, when you were a little baby, you remember telephones. but I remember telephones, right? And just shows you that I'm a little older than I look. I know I look 21, but I'm a little older than 21. And no one better make a comment. But the connection was RJ11. You had the copper line, and then you had some type of telecom information. We still use this type of cabling today. We beefed it up a little bit, put in more copper lines, or put in thicker copper lines. Instead of a RJ11, which is a small connection, it's bumped up now to a RJ45. And so what do we call, so the connector is a RJ45, going along multiple copper threads or strands. And the technology is what? Ethernet, right? So that's anytime you plug in a modem or your computer to the wall or to the internet, that physical connection, that's RJ45 over copper lines, and the technology is called Ethernet. Okay, so you have the end connector, the cabling itself, and then the technology. So when we use an XLR in connection over that copper line, if we plug it into a microphone, it's a mic cable, just an analog mic cable, balanced but analog. We plug it into AES-BU, like in the back of a digital mixer. It's still copper cable and still XLR connector, but it's no longer using analog technology. It is now using digital technology. Same cable, two different type of purposes. Think of PVC pipe. You can put water through it, or you can put gas through it. Same piping, different use case. All right. So balanced analog would be like mic cables or tip ring sleeved. Unbalanced analog would be tip sleeve, RCA, and 3.5 millimeter, which is, you have tip sleeve 1/4 inch, which is the big ones. Do I have any around here? Or you have the small one. All right, so digital over copper. I just told you AES-BU, SPDIF, Ethernet, because you can do digital signals over Ethernet, right? We do it right now when we do TVs over Ethernet, right? And then you have digital over fiber, Toslink, ADAT. And the cool thing about Toslink and ADAT, and I love them, I have it hooked up at my house because I record music. And you can have 8 mics or 8 inputs in and 8 out go through one cable smaller than a pin. So a cable smaller than a pin or a cable smaller than a pencil can carry 8 mic signals. It's thinner than one mic cable, but it can carry 8 mic signals in, and you plug another one up, that same device, 8 mic signals out over something smaller than a pin with better clarity. It's incredible. Okay, so with balance, you get, it's just like, you know, in your house, you have the 2 lines and you go to plug the extension cord in, you have the 2 lines, and then you have the little round thing at the bottom. You got a hot, cold, and a ground, right? When it's unbalanced, like you're plugging in maybe your toaster and it's just the 2 prongs, it doesn't have that 3rd prong, you don't get the hot, cold, and a ground. You get the signal and the shield, or you get a hot and a ground, or not a ground, hot and a neutral, right? So just the 2, you got a hot and you got a neutral, so that circuit can be completed. And then if you have the 3 prongs, you like on your dishwasher, garbage disposal, you got a hot, cold, and you got a ground. So a hot, a neutral, and a ground. Some pros, once again, better noise rejection, less hum and buzz. It's just going to be balanced. It's just better. Cons, needs balanced output and balanced input to help. So yes, you're going to, and you'll see people that really don't understand setup well, or they're in a pinch and they don't have the right cables, and they'll start mixing balanced and unbalanced things. And then it's like, is it truly balanced? If it's balanced on one side but not balanced on the other, no, it's not, right? Signal is being lost somewhere, okay? Connection is being lost somewhere. So if you're going to start balanced to get the benefit, it has to be balanced all the way through. The minute you put in something unbalanced, then the whole system is really unbalanced, right? All right, more conductors, connectors, adapters can accidentally unbalance the line. Yes, yes. Hate adapters, folks. Try to always avoid adapters. Type that in the chat. Avoid adapters. Dr. Horn says he remembers rotary dial phones. All right, so Dr. Horn, I remember rotary dial phones. And in my mother's living room, we had one, and it was a really nice phone. And we could not go in the living room. So when I was growing up, the children were allowed to trash all of the house. You could trash the den, you could trash the kitchen. You know, we had to clean it up, but the living room, you never could go in. The furniture in the living room was always nice. The carpet in the living room was always clean. It was always dusted. You could not go in the living room. If people ever came to the house, they were brought into the living room because it was always immaculate, always. And there was a rotary dial phone in there. And if you don't know what a rotary dial phone is, you pick it up and you got to go turn a dial. You turn the dial to 7, you turn it all the way and it goes, and you turn it to 8, or whatever you dial in the number. Rotary dial phones. So I remember rotary dial phones. It was the one phone that we could rarely ever use because it was in the nice room we could never go into as kids. I don't know if any of you ever had a rotary dial phone or a room in your house you weren't allowed to go into. Stephanie says her grandma had a yellow one. All right. All right, avoid adapters. Amberly says avoid adapters. Stephanie said avoid adapters. May said avoid adapters. Jonah says avoid adapters. Yes, avoid adapters. Avoid them at all and any cost. Do you have to use them sometimes? Certain situations you can, but if you properly plan, you won't have to. All right, so digital link. So just talked about how incredible digital stuff is, right? You know, no signal loss. Perfect sound, digital is just amazing, right? So what's the downside of digital? Downside is you're going to start getting clicks, literal clicks and pops. Someone's singing, see, cat, 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 and it's just going to sound terrible, sound like Rice Krispie treats if it's not in sync. So analog, you don't have that problem. You know, going back to the PVC pipe example, the analog or the voice comes through or the piano signal comes through and it goes down the pipe. And whenever it gets to the other end, it just gets to the other end. There's no wrong way to get there. You can get there slow, you get there fast. It's analog, it's just going to move at a constant rate down the line and it gets there when it gets there and everything is fine, right? The problem is with digital. Now, the problem with analog is just that. It's analog, right? It's not going to be perfect. There's going to be degradation of the signal the further the cord is. The further the line is, the more degradation of the signal you're going to get, right? And the degradation is going to be, you're going to lose signal strength and signal clarity. So if it's TV, it's going to look more fuzzy. If it's audio, it's not going to sound as good, right? With digital, perfect in, perfect out. You're going to get the exact same. There's no degradation, okay? And with fiber optics, you're moving so fast, strong signal, perfect signal. You don't get kind of this wavering lag that you get with analog sometimes, right? Or even often. So the downside is for that perfect, almost instantaneous timing to take place, it has to be synced. Since it's not sending an analog signal, like just water getting there, it's sending packets. So you say hello, 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 and it packs up the H and sends it, packs up the E and sends it, packs up the L and sends it, packs up the L, the other L and sends it, packs up the O and sends it. So where analog is just hello and it just gets there when it gets there, with digital, it's packing up every little piece and it's signaling. All right, go. And the H goes, E, go, L, go, L, go, O, go. And it goes to the other end. And if it's not synced properly, it gets to H and then it's looking for the next packet and there's nothing there, so you get a pop or something like, hey, what's going on? It freaks out. Then maybe gets an L and or maybe gets the E later and all of that, and you get issues. So you have to have something that links them together. So normally when you're using fiber optic and Toslink, which you can't really see that because I'm in front of it. Let me get rid of me here. All right. So when you're using Toslink and fiber optic cables, which are my favorite, you normally have to plug in two. One for input, one for output, and it sends signal through the input and the output to keep it in sync with the other device so that you don't get clicks and pops, right? You get this digital link. You normally have to set a slave, you have to set a master, and one sends the signal, hey, it's 12 o'clock. It's 12 o'clock in 1 millisecond. It's 12 o'clock in 2 milliseconds, right? Some type of time clock or time code. And that time code has nothing to do with what time it is in the world. It's just whatever time code it is creating. Same thing with SPDIF and AES-BU or even BNC connectors, which I didn't list here. Okay. And I'm back. Hello. All right. So now let's go balance. So at the high end, digital. Under digital, balanced analog. So we're going from best to worst. Top digital, next best balanced analog. And you're going to recognize our old friend Mike cable. But our old friend Mike cable in the digital world is AES-EBU. There is no analog configure option for Toslink because that's fiber optic. And then SPDIF is just a RCA, which is funny. You use an RCA cable for analog, lowest, worst quality possible. Use it for SPDIF, highest quality possible, right? Which I prefer Toslink, but you get the point. Digital, the highest quality, unbalanced analog is lowest quality. Between those two, you have balanced. All right. So balanced XLR, it is balanced. These are tip ring sleeves. Some of these aren't balanced. At the very top here is a 3.5 millimeter. Both of these looks like less than 3.5 millimeter. This is a 3.5 millimeter, or what's called an eighth of an inch. So you got 2.5 millimeter, 3.5 millimeter. You'll never use 2.5 millimeter really ever. Like you'll probably never even see it. But 3.5 millimeter, you'll see it all the time. Tip sleeve means that it's unbalanced. You have a tip here, just black separator to keep it from grounding out like a car. You don't want the positive and the negative to touch it. It'll create a short. There's a little black spacer to create a space so it doesn't short out. Right? So you have the tip, and then you have a sleeve. Once again, a hot and a neutral, unbalanced, hot, neutral, unbalanced. Then you come here to a tip, black spacer ring, black spacer sleeve, 1/4 inch balance, 1/8 of an inch balanced, which still all of these two are the same size, just this one's unbalanced, this one's balanced. Then you have 1/4 inch, which is a bigger version of these, right? Tip, ring, sleeve, tip, black spacer, ring, black spacer, sleeve. Okay. All right. Any questions? Someone says, what does SPDIF stand for? Sony Philips Digital Interface Format. Sony Philips Digital Interface Format. All right, yeah, and Amberly posted it. There you go. I have no idea when Sony Philips created SPDIF, but that's what it stands for. All right, any other questions? All right, pop in questions at any time. All right, so some typical uses. Mics, we know what mics are used for. Microphones, stage boxes, connecting amps, speakers, connecting mixers to consoles. If you're in a digital world, I have my little box here. And where my interface, all of us should have interfaces for our new folks. Make sure you go on the list of things to purchase and pick up the interfaces and the stuff on that list. Okay. Console, you have amps and monitors, patch bay interconnects, intercom, broadcast stuff. So you're going to use all of that stuff with these XLR cables and 1/4 inch tip sleeve cables, you name it. All right, so here's the full-blown XLR here. Under that, you have mini XLR. So a lot of lavalier mics, like the ones I'm using, they have mini XLR, and they plug in the little body transmitters, or body packs, as they call them. And that's what transmits the signal. So when you see all these people walking around with the headsets, you know, these speakers or preachers walking around with the headsets, a lot of times they're mini XLR going to a body pack. Sometimes they are one of these, like a 3.5 millimeter, 1/8 of an inch, and they're going to the body pack as well. Now the worst kind, unbalanced. Now we see these are unbalanced. One 1/8 of an inch, 3.5 millimeter, 1/16 of an inch. So here is 1/4 inch unbalanced. How can we tell that it's unbalanced, folks? One spacer. That's, in this case, is white instead of black. Some spacer to keep it from grounding out. We got a tip, we got a sleeve, So we got a hot and we got a shield, or a hot and a neutral, no ground. Same here. We have a sleeve, old dirty RCA cable. We got the sleeve, this copper sleeve. We have this copper tip. So we got a hot, we got a shield, no ground. This is actually a tip ring sleeve cable. That's right, Jonah. One spacer. One spacer here. One ring, Amberly. Absolutely right. Here, is this a unbalanced cable? No. This is actually a tip ring sleeve. It's just an 1/8 of an inch tip ring sleeve. If you've ever bought like computer speakers, y'all remember the computer speakers? You buy a new computer and it would come with these two computer speakers. Computers don't come with computer speakers anymore. But back in the day, you buy a computer, you get these computer speakers, or maybe they do. And you'd plug in this little green end, right? Or you plug it in, the little end into the computer, and you get a left and a right. So you get a left and a right. So there you go. Left and right, tip ring sleeve. And now you have tip ring sleeve. So you can get a left and a right speaker output, like with headphones. And the extra ring is for a microphone. So you could plug, tip ring sleeve into your, say, your cell phone, and you can have your left and right speaker, and you can have a mic to talk into. Amberly says she remembers that. That's old. All right, speak on cables. These are plugged into speakers, why they call them speak on, so that you can't pull them out. They lock in place. And to pull them out, you have to push this clip, twist it, and turn it out. They do that so someone can't trip over the cable and yank it out of the speaker, and then something bad happens, right? Before that, you have banana cables. We actually have some of these at our church, these little banana cables. And that's another way of connecting them. But modern day, you're going to see XLR. Everything is just kind of going XLR. But before that, speak on and banana. Another thing with speaker cables need to be thick. I've seen people make the mistake of, hey, this fits, so it'll work. And they'll take a patch cable, because speaker cables are normally just unbalanced cables. So it could be 1/4 inch cables. But you can get a 1/4 inch cable that's thin. So the difference between like a patch cable or guitar cable and a speaker cable is the thickness of the wire. That's called gauge. This AWG is gauge, right? So let me go back. So a speaker cable is going to be really, really thick because it's carrying a lot of electricity through it, a lot of amperage through it. So if you put a small cable, you're going to get a lot less signal, and that cable might heat up and melt. Okay. So you could use a thick cable for a small application. So you could use a thick speaker cable and probably plug your guitar in and be fine. I've never done it, but you probably could. But what you couldn't do is take, say, a thin patch cable that you just use for maybe basic audio wiring, and then use it as an amp. It would heat the cable up and melt it, or it just wouldn't work. You just get very, very little sound through it. D-sub patches, these things right here, they're normally connected to a cable, and they plug in the digital electronics. You really don't see that too much anymore. And this is a patch bay. These are patch cables. So what a patch cable does, if you had 5 different pieces of audio equipment, maybe a reverb box, a delay box, your computer interface, some monitors, you'd use just maybe a thin patch cable to link them all together, and the signal would be totally fine. But you wouldn't want to take one of these thin patch cables and use it for speakers. Okay, RJ45, I talked about that, and Ethernet. Balanced. This talks about how long you can run balanced cables for. I don't agree with a lot of these. This saying balanced mic cables you can run for 300 feet. You're going to have a lot of signal loss, but you can. Unbalanced for 25 feet. You could run unbalanced cable probably just 100 feet. We have unbalanced lines that we've run, and you'll be fine depending on the thickness of the gauge. RCA, just don't use it. AES-BU, 100 meters sounds good and great signal. That SPDIF, 10 meters, I would probably agree with that. Toslink, 10 meters. I think I could probably run Toslink a lot more than 30 feet and keep an incredible signal. The harder part would be actually finding a Toslink cable that long. And then Ethernet audio, 300 feet, 100 meters. Yep, easily. So I'd agree with that. And it's just a graph of that. DI boxes, just don't use them. Get the balanced. Sometimes you have to, because they'll take analog signal, unbalanced analog, and take it to balance, so to keep noise, ringing, and all of that stuff out of there. But just try to get the balanced. Okay. Live sound. Okay, we got to play around with some live sound last week, right? Live sound for the in-person folks. So you're going to go mic to a stage box or snake. They didn't have a snake, but if they did, we went from their mixer to their snake. Here's front of house. So this is back. So this is the mic, person on stage, going into the stage box or snake, coming into the mixer, and boom, you got it. Guitar, same thing. You're going to just have your instrument to a DI box, to your snake or console, to your FOH's front of house, to your front of house. The new thing now is powered speakers. 70 says that looks a mess. Yeah, that does look an absolute mess. This little over here. I would be itchy if I was looking at that. I'd be like, oh my goodness, what is going on? All right. The new thing now is powered speakers. Powered speakers are the best. Oh my goodness. Powered speakers eliminates so much headache. So without power speakers, DI box is not, so question on the floor is DI box's digital interface. All right, so direct injection is your DI box. And it's just taking an unbalanced signal and making it a balance. So your guitar to your guitar cable to your DI box, and then you can come out XLR or balance 1/4 inch to your console. And a lot of times they'll have a ground lift, which will flip the frequency of the electricity in the box. So if you get a bunch of hum and buzz, right, because you're plugged into the wall and the DI box isn't basically resonating or transporting information at the same frequency of the electricity coming into it, hit the ground lift, and it'll help get rid of all of the noise and the hum or the buzz. To avoid all of that, go straight balance. Well, how do you go out of your guitar to balance? If you're going wireless, out of that guitar, directly wireless to a, from the wireless transmitter to a balanced wireless receiver, come out of the XLR or come out of the balanced 1/4 inch, and boom, right? Or if great signal, you can come right out of it, not into a snake or a stage box, but right into the interface itself. Bypass the hum, just save yourself the headache of having to try to do long runs on unbalanced cables. All right. If you're with me, just type in, if you got it, type in, I got it. If you don't got it, type in your question. So if you got it, if you're with me, type in, I got it. If you have a question, type in your question. And I want to see everybody do it so I can make sure we're not losing anybody. All right. So powered speakers, back to powered speakers. All right. Stephanie says she got it. Amberly says she got it. All right. Y'all keep type in, you got it. If you got it, have a question, ask a question. I want to make sure everybody's here. Dr. Horn says you got it. So if you got it, go ahead and type in you got it. Okay. So powered speakers, Margaret says she got it. May says she got it. Oh, May says she's getting it. All right. Hey, we'll work with that. We'll work with that. If you have a question, make sure you ask. Okay. And then of course you can always go back and watch the video as well. All right. So power speakers are the absolute best. So what is a power speaker? Before you had a passive speaker. So passive means, I don't want to call it dumb and smart, but a passive speaker is a speaker that is not amplified. Let me look over here because the camera's over here and I'm looking over at you guys' comments, making sure I got it. So a passive speaker is literally the magnet and the cone. That's it. That's it. So if you ever crack the speaker open, there's the magnet and there's the cone. A passive speaker is just a magnet and the cone. So then you have to have an amplifier that takes the signal from, say, the mixing board and amplifies it. It makes it louder, right? So it makes it louder, and it pushes that strong amplified signal to the magnet in the cone, to the speaker, and then you get amplification, right? You have amplification. Now you have loud sound, right? That's why they call speakers, they call them loudspeakers. You put that amp on the speaker, and it's a loudspeaker. If you don't have an amp on the speaker, you plug it in, you can't hear anything. It literally, you can't hear it at all, or it's so low. You have this big speaker, and you're trying to put your head to this big speaker just to hear anything, right? You put the amplifier on it, you have the loudspeaker. And then amplifiers come in watts. Do you have a 400 watt amplifier, 300 watt amplifier, 1000 watt amplifier, 3000 watt amplifier, right? And the speakers might only be able to handle 500 watts. Somebody plugs a 3000 watt amplifier because they don't know what they're doing. They blow out that speaker. Bam! And they're like, oh, I blew the speaker. Now it doesn't work. Okay. So they have this thing now. We have powered speakers. Powered speakers. Which is awesome, right? Powered speakers are awesome because the amp is built into the speaker. So you don't have to worry about blowing it. The amp is designed for that speaker. And since the amp is on the speaker, what does that mean? That means you don't need to buy a separate amp. You don't have to worry about making sure the cable from that amp to the speaker is matched. You don't have to worry about making sure the watts is matched. You don't have to worry about making sure, because amps can be bridged, which means all the power comes out of one line, or they can be separated, which means the power is divided and comes out of two lines, like a left and a right. You don't have to worry about any of that. Just plug the speaker into your mixer, and it works perfectly. Right? You don't have to worry about blowing it up, frying it, imbalancing it, impedance of your cables. Nothing. Okay? You don't have to worry about it at all. And it's wonderful, right? So I always suggest anyone, don't get passive amps and passive speakers and buy an amp. Buy amplified speakers from the go. Buy amplified speakers from the go. They're going to sound incredible. They're going to last because you don't have to worry about, doing something screwy with them or someone not knowing how to balance things out properly. You don't have to worry about messing them up. They're just going to work. Okay. Alrighty. So if you're setting something up and it's live sound, go balanced. All right. Camera scratch audio is normally going to be 3.5 millimeter. All right. They're the audio racks. All right. Get to balance. A digital, if you can, especially in studio environments. You won't see a lot of digital in live environments. You might see an Ethernet cable going from a board to a stage box. A stage box is like a secondary digital mixer on the stage. So everybody plugs into that little digital mixer on the stage, and then maybe an Ethernet cable runs it all the way to the back of house to the mixer, and that's how that works. So that connection is digital, but normally live, it's all going to be analog, and then in a recording studio, it's going to be digital. Okay. So now, and we're going to take a break here in a second. Now we're going to hop into some Pro Tools. Okay. I want us to pull up the song we were working on 2 weeks ago. Alrighty. So I'm gonna let that be there. Okay. So God is My Witness is there. If you need to download this song, go to the digital classroom, go to the group, and you'll see a link there to download it. So go to the digital classroom, and you'll see a link to download this song. This software, if you're new, is called Pro Tools. You'll need to get it. It's about $10 a month to be able to use it and work in it. Okay. And make sure you go back to all of the previous classes and catch up on all of the previous classes. And this will make a whole lot more sense to you once you've walked through all of those previous classes. So if you're a little bit lost, that's okay. You should be. Okay. All righty. So here we go. And I'm gonna make me a little bit smaller here. I guess you guys can see okay. I don't want to block. Someone said there's a free version for 30 days. Well, guess what? This class is longer than 30 days, so the free version is not going to help you. Initially, we tried letting people demo for 30 days, and normally your subscription runs out and you're having to get it anyway, and it's just causing headache, and people's computers are like not recognizing the new paid version. So just borrow $10 from grandma and get the paid version. If you want to do film scoring, that's different. So Pro Tools has different versions. Let me show it to you. It's actually a great opportunity to kind of teach about the different versions of Pro Tools. Alrighty. So Pro Tools has a couple different versions. And we're going to go here, monthly. All right, Stephanie says it worked for her. If you want to risk it, go ahead. All righty. But the class is longer than 30 days. You're going to have to pay for it eventually. All right, so Pro Tools has different versions. There's the artist version at $10, which is what pretty much all of you need. However, for those that are doing movie scoring, which is one of our students, there's a bigger version that is $34.99 that you may want to consider because it allows you to score video tracks inside of it. So the big difference between artists is I'm just doing audio. Studio is I'm doing audio and video. So that means I can now pull up video into Pro Tools. I cannot edit the video like DaVinci, but I can pull up video in Pro Tools and I can make music specifically for that video as it is playing on the screen. So the difference between $10 and $35, other than $25, is the ability to do video. It does give you more audio tracks, more MIDI tracks, more instruments and effects, and all of that great stuff. But the big difference, the kicker really is the ability to do video. Okay. All right. And if you have any issue loading it, I would always suggest you can bring it into the school at any point and I can take a look at it for you. Or if there's something with your computer, you might have to take it to a Best Buy and see and have them work on your computer. Alrighty. So this is the video from the audio from last week. And once again, if you're new, this is going to be you're going to be like, what is going on? But that's fine. As you go back and work through the other classes, this will make sense. Alrighty. So let's just hear. This is from an artist that recorded this years and years and years ago. And I believe I helped him record it at his studio or mine. You see MIDI tracks here. So let's blow it up a little bit. And I'm going to throw my headphones on so that I can hear it as well. And don't get a bunch of double audio recorded. So I'm going to throw my earbuds on. And remember, this track is available for download. God-given heaven's inspiration, and you hold us firm. All right, so you'll see, you can download this, so make sure you go to the group and download it. But if you noticed, it's fun, we get to troubleshoot. The audio is delayed. Let's find out why. Listen to where it starts and look at where it starts.
You are God-given, heaven's inspiration.
So it's starting, it looks like it starts fine. This is the audio here.
You are.
So it looks like it's on time, but there's some type of delay. Let's look here.
I will be.
So it starts, but the audio is delayed. So what can delay audio? Well, one thing that could delay audio is a malfunctioning plugin. So that means we put something on the track. Let's come here and go to Windows Mix. We put something on the track that is making it sound weird. So let's go back here, playback engine. Oh, I keep hitting playback engine and it pops up this. So now, what I mean is my edit window. So I'm gonna tell it to loop this, just this section of the vocal.
You are God-given, heaven's inspiration, and you hold us firm when I want to bend. I'll work through every situation, and I'll be right there with you till the end. I will be there when you need someone the most. Put me to the test.
All right, so this is the vocal track here. And just as if you were on a live mixing board, this is your fader. So we have, So we have a few effects here. Easiest thing to do is to say, hey, I'm gonna deactivate these effects. So these are bypassed, but they're still activated, which means they still create delay. They still take up computer resources. So I'm gonna just actually make them inactive. So now it's like they're not even there. Let's see if that fixes it.
You are God-given, heaven's.
No. So let me make this one inactive. Let's see if that does it.
You are God-given.
Nope. So let's come down here. Let's make these sends inactive.
You are God-given.
Still a delay. I'm gonna make those active again. So now we got to troubleshoot. We got to go, what is going on? Why is there a delay? And you'll get this in the studio, whether it's your home studio, whether it's a multi-million-dollar studio, and you'll have to troubleshoot. Why is there a delay? I say it's a uncommon thing where a plugin, because you could buy plugins from anywhere off the internet, any manufacturer, and then you load a plugin, and somewhere in your track is a plugin that is delaying your audio. Look at this. Here's a maximizer plugin. Let's make sure we make that inactive, right? We don't want anything on our master bus. So let's play.
You are God-given.
All righty. So still a delay. So what is it? We don't have to, and you say, well, we could just put on delay compensation. We got low latency monitoring on. We could just throw on delay compensation. So we come down here, we click delay compensation, and let's see if that fixes it.
You are God-given, heaven's inspiration.
And that fixed it. Just threw on some delay compensation. God is good, and that fixed it. So what is delay compensation doing for us, right? So what is delay compensation doing? Every plugin, so the older versions of Pro Tools, you used to have to do this manually. It was unbelievable. It made you actually not want to use certain plugins because the plugin would sound so wonderful, but would just be a hot mess, right? It would caused so many milliseconds of delay that you just didn't want to have to try to figure out how to line your vocals back up. So what is delay? Delay is when the signal comes in, I say hello. So 1, 2, 3, hello, 1, 2, 3, hello, right? But I put in some type of effect, a compressor, but it takes that compressor time to work. It's not magic. It's not instantaneous, right? So now it's 1, 2, 3, hello. And that delay is the time it took my voice to go into that compressor, into that effect, the effect to do its effectiveness, and then spit it back out. But I want it instantaneous, right? I don't want a delay. I want it to get my vocal or my music or my guitar, do what you're going to do, and spit it back out at the exact same time, instantaneous. Well, that's kind of impossible because that compressor or that effect needs time to think, it needs time to do its thing. So that's a problem. So, and you used to have all these different delays on in Pro Tools. It was an utter nightmare, and you'd have to go in and manually do time compensation for each one of those channels. It was crazy. But Pro Tools, Logic has been had this, but Pro Tools created delay compensation, where Pro Tools itself would go in and say, don't worry about it. We're going to figure out how the delay on every one of your tracks and the delay from the effects of all of your tracks, and we're going to fix it ourselves. Good job, Pro Tools. Should have done it sooner, but we're happy you did it now, right? So now when I put an effect on,
You are God-given, heaven's inspiration, and you hold us firm when I wanna bend. I'll work through every situation, and I'll be right there with you till the end. I will be there when you need someone the most. Put me to the test. God is my. You are God-given, heaven's inspiration, and you hold us firm when I wanna bend. I'll work through every situation, and I'll be right with you till the end. I will be there when you need someone the most. Put me to the test. God is my. You are God-given, heaven's inspiration, and you hold us firm when I wanna bend. I'll work through every situation, and I'll be right there with you till the end. Me to the test. You are God-given, heaven's inspiration, and you hold us firm when I wanna bend. I'll work through every situation, and I'll be right there with you till the end.
so even as we add effects and play with effects, a lot of it becomes instantaneous. I'll remove these inserts, and you see we kind of have all of these channel strips. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna remove some of these just because we're currently not using them, and I'm probably not going to use them. Alrighty. And let's say I want to add an effect here.
You are God-given, heaven's inspiration, and you hold us firm when I wanna bend. I'll work through every situation, and I'll be right there with you till the end. I will be there when you need someone the most.
All right, I would just add, you could tell this wasn't recorded in like a isolated studio. I think he recorded this in just a room in his house. But in the scope of the music, talk about music, magic, you really don't hear all of the background noise and the fans blowing. You normally don't want that stuff in there, but you never really want it in there. But in the course of the music, you really don't hear it too much, which is a good thing.
You are God-given, You are God-given, heaven's inspiration. God, I wanna be right there with you till the end. I will be there when you need someone the most. Put me to the test. You are God-given, heaven's inspiration, and you hold us firm when I wanna bend. I'll work through every situation, and I'll be right there with you till the end. I will be there when you need someone the most. Put me to the test. You are God-given, heaven's inspiration, and you hold us firm when I wanna bend. I'll work through every situation, and I'll be right there with you till the end. I will be there when you need someone the most.
And if you can hear, as I'm changing and these effects, it's happening in real time without delay.
You are God-given, heaven's inspiration, and you hold us firm when I wanna bend. I'll work through every situation, and I'll be right there with you till the end. I will be there when you need someone the most. Put me to the test. God is my. You are.
Alrighty. So, low latency monitoring. Just teach you a little bit about some of the options you have in Pro Tools. Low latency monitoring is when you're recording audio, and maybe you put an effect on there, or maybe you don't even have an effect on there, but as you talk, you realize there's a delay between when you say something and when you hear it. Not when you say something and when it's recorded, but when you say something and then when you hear it. Because when you're talking or singing or doing a podcast, you want to be able to hear yourself. Now, often you can use your interface to direct monitor. That means before it even gets to the computer, the interface your mic is plugged in and that your headphones are plugged in will automatically play back to you, right? So that's a good one. And low latency monitoring does that for you. Another thing is delay compensation. Delay compensation is the delay added to your track because of the effects. It's the delay added to your track because of the effects. All right, if you're with me, say you're with me. Go ahead and type it in. If you're not, ask a question. There's no such thing as a bad question, but all questions are great questions. All right, I'm gonna close this session. All righty. Shauna says she's with me. Stephanie says I'm with you. Everybody can't be with me. Somebody has to have a question. We got a test. What is test 4? I don't remember what test 4 is. All right, I'm gonna do a new project here. Like Dawn says, I'm with you. All right, May says it's instantaneous live. So I'm gonna create a new track here. Margaret says I'm with you. All right, Stephanie says I think I deleted the vocals. Remember, the track is still there, so you can just re-download it at any time. Yes, instantaneous is instant. So when I say something is instantaneous, that just means, yeah, that it's happening real time at that moment. All righty. Title this one Test. We'll call this one AVE delayed podcast. Alrighty. So we're going to create something new. That's me. I'll just save changes. I'm going to tell it no. Alrighty. So now we have new. And you go, wait, you just created a new track. I don't see anything. What's going on? Just see a transport bar. Where's the actual track? Well, it's here. I just need to tell it I want to view it. I can go to window and say what I want to view, mix or edit. So I'm going to say, hey, give me the edit screen. And there's my edit screen. All right. So here we go. No need to panic. All right. All righty. So now what I'm going to do here, this is a brand new track. And I'm going to record. Delay compensation's on, low latency compensation's on. I'm going to tell it, I want a track. So I pop this on another screen. I'm going to tell it I want 7 audio tracks. And I'm going to come over here in my window and go to mix. And my interface has 2 inputs. I'm plugged in the input 1. So I'm going to tell it, hey, I want input 1. Watch what happens when I hit record, right? Now, when I hit record, what do you see? You see my voice up here. If I was to hit I, next thing you know is you'll be able to hear my voice when I hit the record button. So here. So I double click down there. So I'm gonna do it again. I double click audio 1 and it pops up this little screen. It does it on another screen because I have 3 screens that I'm looking at right now. All right. So then I could just hit, I'm gonna call it Professor G. To change that to Professor G down there. Okay. And if I wanted to, I can hit the record button. This is armed, so my track is armed. Professor G's track is armed. And then the whole Pro Tools is armed. And now when I hit the space bar, it is playing. It is recording. It's recording here in the loop. So if there's a loop set up. So I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now look at that. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording. Here we go. I'm a recording artist. This is literally be probably my 50,000th recording. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock bands, pastors, rappers, poetry. I don't know how many recordings I've done over my lifetime. All right, so here we go. So now we got that track recorder. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just stop this. I was actually helping a guy do a podcast yesterday, get his podcast set up a little tweaked in. All right. So now let's play this back. Here we go. It is playing. It is recording. It's recording here in the loop. So if there's a loop set up. So I'm just come up here. Look at this. This is good. Now look at that. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording. Here we go. Now I want you to listen for something. I want you to, I have my air conditioner in here playing. I want you to hear it. And you go, you might be like, why can't we hear it now when you're talking? And the reason you can't hear the air conditioner now while I'm talking to you via the live stream is because in the live stream, I have filters. In the software that I use for the live stream, I have filters over here to filter out that air conditioner. And I have compressors on my voice to make it sound louder. And I have all of this stuff processing live while I'm talking to you. Okay. However, when you hear back Pro Tools, that stuff is not there. Well, the compressor is there, but the air filter and all of that stuff is not there. So let's hear it back and listen for the air conditioner. The moment you hear the air conditioner, type in air conditioner in the chat, but only if you're able to hear it. It is playing. It is recording. It's recording here in the loop. So if there's a loop set up, so I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now look at that. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording here. Now, were you able to hear the air? This noise in the background? You're able to hear it? All right. Jonna says air conditioner. She was able to hear it. All right. So maybe y'all need to have some earbuds in. Anytime we do the AV class, you're probably going to have earbuds in so you can actually hear really, really well. May says air conditioner. Stephanie says air conditioner. So you can hear it, right? You can hear it. Emily says air conditioner. You can hear it. So if somebody brought you a recording like this, what would you do? What would you do? I know what I would do. I have a Waves plugin called X Noise, and I would throw it on there and it'll start to remove the noise, right? But if you don't have that X Noise plugin, what do? Well, you can put a gate on here to fix it, y'all. So let me go back to my mix screen. So this is the track that I was recording on. So I can go back to my mix screen here. I'm gonna take this off. This is me live here. But I can put a gate on here. Jonah says noise gate. Stephanie says add a compressor. So remember, a compressor is just going to bring the loud pieces down and basically the low pieces up. So if anything, you add a compressor, you're going to be able to hear the noise better, right? Because it's just going to make the whole thing a little louder and a little more compressed. So then adding a compressor would make the noise really more audible. Let's actually do that. Let's add a compressor. It is playing. It is recording. It's recording here in the loop. So if there's a loop set up, I'm going to do, so I'm just come up here, 5-to-1 compression, every 5 bits in, 1 bit out. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. The vocals averaging 18, so we want to compress. Recording. Here we go. I'm a recording artist. This is 30 will work. Probably you can see the compression here. Thousands recording. And then we just want to make up the gain. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock bands, pastors, rappers, poetry. Now, do we hear the air more or do we hear it less? Recordings I've done over. Do we hear the air more? Lifetime. Or do we hear the air less? All right, so here we go. So now we hear it more, right? Track recorder. Why do we hear it more? We hear it more because we did for every 5 bits in, 1 bit out. So we're bringing the top of that waveform down, and then we're raising the gain to compensate. For example, let's come over here to our wave, guys. So this is our waveform here, okay? And we're gonna make it really, really big. Here we go. So, say this line right here is negative infinity. That means it's no noise. This line through the middle is negative infinity. It's no sound at all. The top line here and that bottom line, because our audio stretches toward the ceiling and toward the floor, right? So here, lower, stretching toward the floor. And then we have this one peak, stretching more toward the top. So the line that's right in the middle is negative infinity. You can't hear anything. There's no sound being produced. And then this white line at the top and this white line at the bottom is 0 decibels. Okay, so that's blasting, totally distorted. Super, super loud, right? Wave signal will wind up looking crazy, right? It'll wind up looking like this. It's all right. So if we didn't record it that way, I'm just making it that way now, just as an example. But this would be like distorted because it's so recorded so loud that the interface or the software or both cannot handle it, right? So that's maxing at 0 decibel. All the information above this is being cut out. That's what distortion is. All the information above this is being cut out, and all we see is a straight line. We're losing tons of information, okay? But it doesn't look like that. That's how our actual waveform is. So we're not losing any information here. So good job to us. So negative infinity is the line in the middle, stretching out up or down. It's the 0 decibels. When we add a compressor, what we're telling this is, let's just play the waveform. We're telling it for every 5 in, say 5 decibels in, spit 1 decibel out, which is going to lower the volume overall. But it's going to bring more of this top down, right? More of this bottom down. So we're going to start pushing it toward the center. And the reason we do that, the reason we add a compression and push it toward the center, is so that the vocals even out. So right now I'm talking to you in my normal voice, but if I got really, really loud, guess what happened? You didn't really have to turn your computer down, did you? Or if I speak really, really low, you don't really have to turn your computer up, even though I'm speaking really, really low. When you hear it in your headphones or you hear it through your interface, it sounds not too much different than when I'm yelling. The difference between me whispering really, really low and me yelling really, really loud is very, very minimal on your side. If you were physically in here with the room, when I'm whispering, you're going to be like, what is he saying? And when I'm yelling, you're going to like, whoa, it's this very big difference between my whisper and my yell in real life. But since I have a compressor on my voice right now that you're hearing, on your end, the difference between my whisper and my yell, you can tell when I'm whispering, when I'm yelling, but it's just not that big a decibel difference. I think when I'm whispering, I'm at like negative 18. And when I'm yelling, it's going to cap out at 12 because at negative 2 because I have a limiter. So, and that's why we have compressors. If we didn't have compressors, we'd have to bring the volume down when someone's talking really, really loud, and then you wouldn't be able to hear when they're talking low. Or we bring it up when they're talking really low, but then it's blasting when they're talking really loud. So we bring in compressors to bring the loud parts down, and then we just gain it to bring everything overall back up. And let's listen to this effect. It is playing. So notice when it's just air, the background air, it's here at roughly negative 50. It's recording here in the loop. So if there's a loop, and my talking is roughly at, come up here to my edit screen, negative 18. Now look at that. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording. But now I'm not going to gain it at all. Let me go back to 0 decibels. First recording. Here we go. And I hit bypass. So now that's active. Probably my 50,000th recording. And actually, let me turn the compressor. I have a compressor on the audio here as well. So I want you to really hear the dynamics of this. So let me turn the compressor. I have a compressor on the live stream for the Pro Tools. So I've turned that off. So now this is going to be able to, you're really going to be able to hear the difference as if you were hearing it in real life. It is playing. It is recording. And I'm going to actually put this at 0 decibel. So I'm just come up here. So what you're hearing now is, now look at that, 100%. Should be 100% of what you're hearing if you were here. Now, mind you, it's streaming through your live streaming, so the live stream compresses a little bit, but this is closer, much closer to what you'd be hearing if you were here in real life. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock bands, pastors, rappers. You could hear me squirming around and moving. Poetry. You could hear my little headset probably banging against the mic. I don't know how many. And now, and all of that because it is playing. It is recording. I've compressed. There's a loop set up. So I'm just come up 5 to 1 to my edit screen. Now look at that. So, and my threshold is 32, negative 32 decibels. So what that means is the minute this hits negative 32, here we go. I'm gonna record. it starts compressing at 5:1. Literally be probably my 50,000th recording. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many years and recorded. If we want to hear that more drastically, we can do a more drastic compression ratio. Like this is almost infinite compression. So this is totally flattening out everything above -32, almost basically acting as a limiter. It is playing. It is recording. It's recording. You can see how much it's compressing here. So I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now look at that. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording. Here we go. I'm a recording artist. This is literally be probably my... You can see where the audio would be, this little red square, if you can see it, is where the audio would be if I wasn't compressing it so heavily. That little breathe in, that little whatever, well, I don't know what that was I did, but you can hear it super clear and super loud, or at the same volume as everything else because it's so compressed. Recordings I've done over my lifetime. Without compression. All right, so here we go with compression. So now we got that track recorder. Without compression. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just stop this. Without compression. It's playing. It is recording. It's recording here in the loop. So if there's a loop set up. So I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now look at that. Now I'm recording with compression. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording. Here we go. I'm a recording artist. If you heard the difference, go ahead and type in, I heard it. I heard it. Now, mind you, everything's getting compressed because we're in the live stream. But if you're able to hear the difference, say I heard it. So the thing is, if compression brings the volume down, how do we get the volume back up? So I can go here. It is playing. Then there's a gain. I turn the gain up. So I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now look at that. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. So now I've used gain to get it pretty close to where the original vocal was. So literally be probably my without the compressor, 1,000th recording. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many years and recorded music, rock bands, pastors. All right, so that's without it. Playing. And now this is with the compressor and some gain. So I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now look at that. Now I'm recording. Now on. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording. Here we go. I'm a recording artist. So now it's roughly the same volume, same loudness with the compressor because I added the gain. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many years. And remember, music, rock bands. Down here is all of the noise, right? Rappers. Now that I brought my peaks down here, and then I raised it all up, it raised everything back up. So basically, it brought my peaks down and then raised everything up, right? So it made it more like this. All right, so here we go. Which means I hear now more of that noise. Track recorder. So if I'm trying to get rid of the noise, compression's not the way. If someone's speaking or talking and I want to make them sound better, compression. You're always pretty much going to compress vocals. But you want to, but guess what? I need to record vocals well. Trash in. We say this in audio video in world, trash in, trash out. If I take a trash video or get a trash recording, the output is going to be trash. It's going to hard to make trash into a treasure, right? But if I record it well, right? I record it without an air conditioner running. I record it and make sure the volume is set properly on my interface, and I record it well and with the right mic and in the right way. Then I can add compression and raise volumes and not have to worry about having a bunch of noise. So compression isn't it. We can do a gate. Let's try a gate. I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording. Here we go. I'm a recording artist. This is literally be probably my 50,000th recording. Many of you know I own the recording studio. I'm going to turn the compressor off. Music, rock bands. Let's add a pastors, gate. Rappers. So what's a gate? A gate works like a compressor in reverse. So what a compressor does is a compressor says, hey, at a certain level, start bringing down the peaks. There we go. Stephanie says, I heard it. Shauna says, you heard it. May says, I heard it. Dr. Owen says, I heard it. All righty. The rest of you, throw some headphones on, throw some stuff on. Because it'll be easier for you to hear it with some headphones on or some really good speakers in your house. Headphones will probably be best. All righty. So now we're going to do a gate. Gate is the opposite. Gate doesn't bring the top down. They eliminate the down. Like they don't bring the top part of the signal down. They take the bottom parts of the signal and throw them away, like erases them. So in the case where something is real low and I don't want it, it'll erase them. I'm a recording artist. Or basically gate them out so they won't come through for us to hear it. All right, so here we go. I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording. Here we go. So it's already gating now. It is saying, hey. Probably my 50,000th recording. So if I owned the recording studio for many, many years, recorded music, rock bands, pastors. So I want to gate. So now I've gated everything out. So now my voice is at 18. My threshold is at -9. So my threshold is way up here, right? My threshold is way up here. My vocals are down here. So in is this and out is this, right? So you can barely hear it because it's gating everything out. So what if I set my threshold? If I know that my vocals are averaging 18, what if I come down here and set it to 1,000th recording? Many of you know I own the recording studio. 60, I still get the error. So it's like, this isn't working. If I set it too high, it cuts out the audio I want. If I set it too low, I'm still getting the air conditioner. So how do I know where to set it at? So first thing you do, you just bypass it, hit play, and you see where the air conditioner and the background noise is. I'm a recording artist. So the easy way to do this is simple. I'm gonna come over here to my mix window. Excuse me, my edit window. And you see how it has this long patch where I'm not talking? Then there's me talking, long patch where I'm not talking, me talking. I'm gonna highlight that, which is telling it to loop. And I'm just gonna have my bypass on, y'all. See bypass right there? I'm gonna just have bypass on. And I'm gonna listen for the quiet parts. I'm listening for the quiet parts. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first, see the quiet parts are here at about -40. And then my talking is about -18. That's important to know. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording. Here we go. So if I know my quiet parts are, the noise is about -40 and my voice is about -18, I know I can set it anywhere between those two and it should cut the noise without cutting my voice. Let's test it. Let's set it up here somewhere. Let's set it to -30. Let's see if it worked. Guys, I'm gonna record. Oh, we gotta not bypass it. So turn it on. Let's see if it works. Look, it's playing. No, so we know it's cutting out the noise. Now let's see if it'll open up for the vocal. Now the problem is, once it opens up, any noise recorded in the vocal, which means the air conditioner is clearly on when I'm talking, you're gonna hear the air conditioner on when I'm talking. But hopefully you focus on my voice, right? That's the hope when you're trying to fix things like this. And then in the quiet parts, you won't hear that. When I'm not talking, you won't hear the air conditioner at all. You should only hear the air conditioner when I'm talking, because that gate opens up and lets all of the signal through. It doesn't know the difference between my voice and the air conditioner. It's just going to open up the gate at -30 decibels and let whatever signal through. So we know that it's worked. It's playing right now. And we're not getting that air. Like bypass it. You hear the air. Now it's on. You don't hear the air. All right, and now let me turn the live stream compressors back on so you can make sure you hear it. All right, so let me do that again. Off, you should hear air. On, no air. But now if we set it too high, we won't get vocal either. So let's see. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording. Here we go. I'm a recording artist. All right, so we got rid of the noise, but what else did we get rid of? We got rid of some of our vocal too. So that means you have to lower this down a little bit. But remember, if we lower it down too much, we won't do it. Another thing is, this is at a hard ratio. So this is not letting anything through once it hits that threshold. I can change the ratio here. And what this does is it cuts everything at the bottom. And as you get closer and closer to the threshold, it's a little more forgiving. Let's try that. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording. Here we go. I'm a recording artist. So that's better, right? So now it's cutting the noise out, letting a little bit of the vocal through. It's perfect here. Here where I'm a little quieter, not so perfect, right? So maybe I lower it a little bit more. Still working. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. Perfect. My first recording. Here we go. I'm a recording artist. And it works perfectly. All righty. So we've dialed in a gate. So now let's listen to it on the entire project. It is playing. It is recording. It's recording here in the loop. So if there's a loop set up. So I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now look at that. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. All right, so that's with the gate on. Okay, and I'm gonna actually tell it to put my inserts over here too. All right, so I'm telling it to put my inserts over here so I don't have to keep bouncing back and forth between, mix screen, bounce back between edit screen. I just told it, hey, put my inserts over here so I don't have to keep doing that. All right, so here's the gate. It is playing. So let's listen to it one more time with the gate on. It is playing. It is recording. It's recording here in the loop. So if there's a loop set up. So I'm just come up here. Now that's with the gate on that we just did. Now let's turn the gate off. It is playing. It is recording. It's recording here in the loop. So if there's a loop set up. So I'm just come up here to my edit screen. All right. If you can hear a difference, once again, type in, I heard a difference. Type in, I heard a difference. If you heard a difference, type in, I heard a difference. So normally when you're editing any audio, y'all want to absolutely clean the audio up first before you add any effects. Before you start trying to make it better, you want to clean it up. If this was a vocal, I'd put in like some type of tuner to get them in the right pitch. I'd add in a de-esser if they're a little sharp. So I'm going to clean it up first, and then I'm going to improve it. I'm going to clean it up first, then I'm going to improve it. Go ahead and type that in. Clean it up first. Because if I add an effect like a reverb, I'm reverbing the air as well. The bad parts I don't want, I'm making it worse. So clean it up first, and then improve it. So type that in the chat. Clean it up, clean it up, clean it up. All right, so I want my gate at the top of the chain because that's something that is cleaning it up, not enhancing it, right? And then next, I'm gonna come in with some EQ. Let's type in clean it up, clean it up, clean it up, clean it up. All righty, here we go. It is playing. So now I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna EQ it. So someone mentioned high pass filters. So now that I'm in an EQ, I can come in with a high pass filter, a low pass filter. What a high pass filter is, it cuts out the low and only lets the high pass, right? Only the high frequencies pass through the gate. So a high pass and low pass filter is a form of a gate where if it's a low pass, it lets the low pass. It lets the low frequencies pass and cuts out the highs. High pass filters let the high frequencies pass and cuts out the low. So this is good for frequency filtering, but not necessarily noise floor filtering, unless your noise floor is just like a rumble, boom. Then you put on a high pass filters and it cuts out that low rumble, right? Or vice versa. You have some noisy high pitch frequency, you put on a low pass filter and it cuts out just that high frequency. So if you're trying to filter out frequencies, those would work. If you're trying to filter out just generic air, a gate would most likely work better. Okay. All right. So let's get in here and let's find us some bad frequencies. Let's find us some bad frequencies. Good to see you guys are with me. I think we lost some folks. All right. This is interactive. Make sure you get that participation score. So don't just turn this on and on the TV in the living room and go hang out in the backyard with the kids. Make sure you're with it. All right. And you're going to need it, of course, for your examination. So make sure you're with me. Okay. So let's EQ out. So how do we EQ? Once again, we're going to first, before we try to improve, we're going to try to find the bad. We want to clean it up first. So we're going to find all of these bad frequencies that are in my voice, and not necessarily in my voice. It doesn't necessarily need to be my voice, but microphones are sensitive to certain frequencies. Interfaces, the thing my mic is plugged up, is sensitive to certain frequencies. The recording software, Pro Tools, is sensitive to certain frequencies. This room reverberation is going to bounce off certain frequencies. So it's not just my voice. It is my voice on this mic with this interface in this room with the environment and the software. If any of those change, I switch to a different software, it's going to sound different. If I switch to a different mic or a different interface or go record in a different room, it's going to sound differently. Okay. So I got to find in this environment what frequencies are not flattering to my voice. So let's do that. Or to the voice of whatever. And it could be a keyboard. There needs to be a voice. It could be a keyboard, could be a drum, could be a snare, could be a violin, could be an explosion, right? If you're doing effects for a movie, what frequencies are not flattering to that audio frequency? So let's see. It is playing. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up, so I'm just come up here to my edit screen. So I just came here to look at that 70 EQ. Now I'm recording. Just got my EQ, and now I'm just going to find out what sounds terrible. It is playing. It is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up, so I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now look at that. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. So all I'm doing is I'm taking my first EQ. Recording. Here we go. I'm a recording artist. I'm slowly dragging it to the right. Probably my 50th to find recording a frequency that sounds bad. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock bands. Oh, that sounds horrible. Pastors, rappers. So that frequency sounds bad. Let's listen to the other frequency. So I'm gonna just make it loop right here. So it's just constant talking. But let's listen to the other frequencies and wait till we get to this frequency, which is around 196 hertz. You can see it, the hertz down here at the bottom. Let's see what happens when we get to around like 200 hertz. So come over here. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock bands, pastors. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock bands, pastors. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock. 269, listen to that, 269, from around 269 to about 208 sound horrible, y'all. Listen to that. Here. My first recording, here we go. I'm a recording artist. This is so over here. Be probably my sounds 50th. Okay, right? Recording. But let's listen. My first recording, here we go. I'm a recording artist. This is literally be probably my 50th, 1000th recording. My first recording, here we go. I'm a recording artist. This is literally be probably my 50th. So let's do this part again. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock bands, pastors. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many, many years and recorded. All right, so 269 sounds the worst. So I'm gonna come and I'm gonna gain it down. So we maximize it to hear it, this bad frequency, and then now we're just gonna gain it down. It wasn't terribly disturbing, so I'm not gonna like super gain it down, like, hey, I want to go on forever, but I'm gonna gain it down just a little bit. Okay. And then I'm gonna I'm gonna loop a different part. And you don't have to loop different parts. You can just loop the same part. I just don't want to loop that part because it makes me sound like I'm trying to brag about the studio or something. So, all right, so we just loop this part. It is playing, it is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up, it is playing, it is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up, it is playing, it is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up, it is playing, it is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So that sounds terrible too. That frequency, can you hear it? It is playing, it is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up, but then you come over here. It is playing, it is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up, it is playing, it is recording. It's recording here in a loop. That sounds terrible. Set up, it is playing, it is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set. All right, so that was terrible. Now let me lower this down a little bit so you can hear me over the. So that was not good. So let's keep finding horrible frequencies. It is playing, it is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up, it is playing, it is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up, it is playing, it is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up, it is playing, it is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up, it is playing, it is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up, it is playing, it is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up, it is playing, it is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up, it is playing, it is recording. It's recording. Not really liking that frequency that much, but not horrible. So I'm just lowered a little. All right. So there's that. So now here's the before. It is playing, it is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up, after, it is playing, it is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up. So let's just play it. Here's before, bypass it before, it is playing, it is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up. So I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now look at that. Now I'm recording. After. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording. Here we go. I'm a recording artist. This is literally be probably my 50,000th recording. Okay, so before, it is playing, it is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up. After, it is playing, it is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up. Can you hear it? It sounds more natural. So this is all just cleanup work. I hadn't actually started to improve anything. I am just cleaning up. I'm cleaning up the frequencies in the room. I'm cleaning up air conditioners. I haven't enhanced anything. All I've done is I'm just doing cleanup, right? Before we can enhance, it's like before we paint the house, let's actually clean the house. Let's cut the grass, right? Let's clean the toilets and get that ring out of the toilet. Let's wash the dishes. Before we start knocking down and trying to do these major improvements, let's just clean the house first, right? All right, because once it's clean, I'm gonna get a different vibe than if it's dirty, right? So if that makes sense, say, I got it. Type in, I got it, I got it. I got it. Or if you're getting it, type in, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Okay. So now, I'm going to remove that. So now we have a gate that's removing the noise. We have an EQ that is pulling out those bad frequencies. And you go, how much do you know? How do you know how much to lower the EQ? You don't. You just play with it. I know that if a sound is really, really bad, I want to pull more of it out. So make it lower the volume of that frequency. If a frequency is that just really annoying, like this frequency over here at roughly around 2 kilohertz, I didn't like it, but it wasn't horrible. So I pulled a little bit of it out. But this frequency over here in the orange around 269 kilohertz or 269 hertz was horrible. So I pulled that out more than I pulled out this one, right? And it just made it sound more natural. Now, could you guys hear the difference in the before and after of the EQ? I'm curious to see if you could actually hear a difference. In the beginning, a lot of times, even engineers, when they're starting off as engineers, you don't hear the differences as much. Like, oh, it just all sounds the same. But as your ear becomes more tuned, you're able to hear more of those, granular differences. And the thing is, when you have a song and you have like 50 tracks, a tiny difference here and a tiny difference here over 50 tracks makes a massive, massive difference, right? So give yourself some time to hear the differences, and you'll begin to hear the differences as you're working with audio yourself. You'll begin to hear the differences between these tiny differences. And tiny differences. So normally you're not going to do one thing that makes a big difference. You're going to do 100 little things that add up to a big difference. And you'll see that by the time we get to the end of this, right? All right, and we'll take a break in a few minutes for you guys. All righty. So we got the gate, we have the EQ. Now we can actually start to try to make this sound improve. Now that we've gotten out bad frequencies and noise, let's try to actually make this sound okay. Okay, so let's go, and I'm gonna use a shotgun here. I'm gonna go with a maximizer. You would normally never do this, but I do this sometimes, even in the real mixing, depending on the application. Normally you would never use a maximizer just for something like mixing and mastering the track at the end of all of the EQing and mixing. But I actually sometimes use them in the track, sometimes, and we're gonna use it right here. It is playing. It's recording here in the loop. So I can see where the audio is, and I'm gonna start to bring that down and compressing it. It is playing. It's recording here in the loop. So if there's a loop set up, so I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now look at that. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording. Here we go. I'm a recording artist. This is literally be probably my 50,000th recording. All right, I'm not going to use a maximizer. I probably could have pulled it off in a different environment, but I'm actually have to use a real compressor here. It is playing. It's recording here in the loop. So if there's a loop set up, so I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now look at that. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording. Here we go. I'm a recording artist. This is literally. I don't know if I like that compressor either. None of these are the compressors. I use a lot of wave effects, but we're going to work with these stock compressors, and we're going to do a great job with them. Here we go. It is playing. It's recording here in the loop. So if there's a loop set up, so I'm just come up here. And this will show you to my edit screen how much is compressed. Now look at that. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording. Here we go. I'm a recording artist. This is literally be probably my 50,000th recording. Many of you know I owned a recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock bands, pastors, rappers, poetry. I don't know how many recordings I've done over my lifetime. All right, so here we go. Adding gain. So now we got that track recorder. So now we'll go ahead and just stop this. All right, so it is playing. It's recording here in the loop. So if there's a loop set up, increasing our ratio, which is going to make it just come up here harder to my edit screen. Now look at that. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording. Here we go. I'm a recording artist. This is literally be probably my 50,000th recording. Many of you know I owned a recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock bands, pastors, rappers, poetry. I don't know how many recordings I've done over my lifetime. All right, so here we go. So now we got that track recorder. So now we'll go ahead and just stop this. Okay, so I'm pretty pleased with that. But once again, what does the compressor do? The compressor brings the top down, And when you gain it, you're bringing the bottom up. So we kind of had that gate thing working for us, not really working for us as much. So let's see if we can tighten up the gate without killing our audio. Here we go. It is playing. It is playing. It is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up. So I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now look at that. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording. Here we go. I'm a recording artist. This is literally be probably my 50,000th recording. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock bands, pastors, rappers, poetry. I don't know how many recordings I've done over my lifetime. All right, so here we go. So now we got that track recording. All right, so a little better. If we wanted to make it perfect, and this is what a lot of watch studios spend a great deal of time because they don't like gates. What they do is they just come in and manually cut out and a lot of studios do this just because gates, it's hard to dial them in perfect. And when someone's paying you $85 an hour or whatever, you want it to be perfect, right? So it is playing. If we wanted to do it manually, we could literally come in, and I have it on grid right now, and I can put it on spot, which allows me to kind of click anywhere without having to kind of be stuck to the grid. So I can put it on spot, and I can just literally just come in and just manually cut all of this stuff out manually and never have to worry about a gate. So I could bypass the gate. So here I'm going to bypass this gate. It is playing. It is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up, and I can just literally just come here, highlight, and delete it. So I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now look at that. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording. Here we go. I'm a recording artist. This is literally be probably my 50,000th recording. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock bands, pastors, rappers, poetry. I don't know how many. And all I'm doing here is just looking for these kind of like blank spots. I'm just going through and doing an initial delete of all of these blank spots. Well, even without listening to them, I can just go and say, all right, here are some blank spots. Let's go in. Let's just delete these blank spots. And this is what a lot of studios would do if they got a recording like this. They actually wouldn't even use a gate. I wouldn't use a gate either. I'd have another software that I would use to pull it out. But all right, so now let's hear it, and then we can go tighten it up. So I'm just hit play. It is playing. It is recording. It's recording here in a loop. So if there's a loop set up, so I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now look at that. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording. Here we go. I'm a recording artist. This is literally be probably my 50,000th recording. I can take that arm out if I don't want it there. Or maybe I say, hey, I can hit control. It's pulling up on another screen. Oh, come up here to here, go back to grid. Then I'll just hit control. I'm gonna pull that down. And then I can just put this on a mute track, and now it's muted. Right, or I could have just gained it to 0. So there's a lot of other ways I could mute it. Or I could have just come in, go to my edit window, and then just mute the clip right there. So there's a lot of ways I could have gotten rid of it or made it not play without actually muting it, just in case I wanted to hear it later. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock bands. And say I don't like that little slurping sound, that deep breathing. Maybe it's crazy and I don't like it. I can just cut it out. Rock bands, pastors, rappers, and then there's a little something still there, right? So I can come back there and delete it. Rappers, poetry. I don't know how many. Delete. Recordings I've done over my lifetime. All right, so here we go. So now we got that track recorder. So now we'll go ahead and just stop this. Okay, so now what did we do? We just went out and manually deleted it. If you think the gate is better and easier, put in the comments gate. If you think going through and just deleting it is easier, go ahead and put in delete. Which one do you think is easier? Would you prefer to gate it or just go through and delete it manually? Type in which one you think is best. Type in which one you think is best and why you think it's best. Stephanie says gate. And she says, we should just move these together. Stephanie's manual deletion. May says manual deletion is better. Stephanie says deletion is better. Why do you guys think deletion is better? Yeah, which one is best? We gated it once, and then we just went through and deleted it. Which one do we think is better? Some people are saying delete. John is saying deleting is more precise. May say it cuts out the extra time. So it's a double-edged sword. If you're just dealing with one track, yeah, deleting is probably going to be faster and easier. But what if you're doing with 50 tracks, right? Just slapping a gate on those bad boys and calling it a day would technically be faster, but would it be better? No. Yeah, the deleting is definitely going to be more precise for sure. And with deleting, you're making sure you're not cutting out a part of the words you want just because the person said it low. You're going to actually get what you want. All right. Dr. Horn says deleting is quicker and seems cleaner. It is quicker sometimes, cleaner always. Yes, it's going to be cleaner. You're going to be able to get exactly what you want. It's going to be cleaner always, which is why studios do it. They're going to delete and not really gate. Because sometimes if somebody whispers something, especially in the song, she's singing la da 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 and da 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 da, right? And that gate is too strong. You get the la da 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 da, but you missed that intimate part when she went no 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 no, and that gate just took that out. So yeah, cleaner. That delete, you go in and use razor like a surgeon. Delete exactly what you want out of there. And so yeah, gate, depending on how many tracks, gating may be slower or faster, but deleting is going to be professional. It's going to be precise. All right. And now that we've deleted, hey, how about we change the tempo? Oh, we can delete that too. All right. So we can come over here and delete that. Oh. So also we can shuffle things around now. It is playing. It is recording. It's recording here in the loop. So if there's a loop set up, so I'm just come up here. So what if I don't want these two things? I can just go ahead and just go up to edit, mute those. And now we can start our podcast, or say here, right? So I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now look at that. And maybe I want that to be a little closer. Or maybe I want them to be together. So I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now look at that. Now I'm recording. And I can begin to remodel. I'm gonna drag this down here, y'all. Uh-oh. I'm gonna go to grid here. So I'm gonna drag this one down. And maybe I'll push this one over here. And maybe I'll just begin to change the tempo. This is like changing the pacing of the podcast. So I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. I'm a recording artist. This is maybe I'll literally be probably my 50,000th recording. Literally be probably my, and it says literally probably be my, maybe we'll just make that literally be probably my, maybe we just want to make it probably. So maybe we trim that down. It'd be probably my 50,000th recording. Maybe we put those together. It'd be probably my 50,000th recording. Boom. We're starting to knock it out of the park here, right? So we could change the tempo. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording. Here we go. I'm a recording artist. This is it'd be probably my. Then we can bring these together. If we right click, we should be able to group these. So now instead of 3 tracks, they've become 1 track. And now I can just move them how I want to move them. As 1 track. I'm going to turn snap off. When I work in Logic, there's a little button that says snap, and I just press it and it turns to snap off. All right, so let's do spot. Or slip here. So slip is there, his Pro Tools version of snap. First recording, here we go. I'm a recording artist. This is it'd be probably my 50,000th recording. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock bands, pastors. So look, now we're putting it in there. We're now building out. This is called editing. We're now editing this thing together. We can change the tempo, which is the pacing and the rhythm and the feel of the recording by cutting things out, changing the pace up. This is also, if we were a news reporter and someone said, hey, I love donuts and I hate, war, we could make them say, I hate donuts and I love war, because we just chopped that joker up right here and we can make them say whatever we want them to say and nobody would be the wiser, right? So we're changing the tempo, we're changing the pacing. We could even change the order. So I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. My first recording. Here we go. I'm a recording artist. This is it'd be probably my 50,000th recording. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many, many years and recorded. So what if we wanted to take this whole piece out? Recording artist, look at this. And what if we took all of this out and we just moved all of this up? And it changes the pacing, right? We're changing the pacing here. And now listen to how it goes. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock bands, pastors, rappers. maybe we want that to sound faster. Maybe we want it to sound like bam, 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 right behind each other, right? We want to put these closer together to where the pacing is like bam, bam, bam. Bands, pastors, rappers, poetry. I don't know how many recordings I've done over. All right, so here we go. Recorded music, rock bands, pastors, rappers, poetry. I don't know how many recordings I've done over. And then maybe we put those together so they touch. Rock bands, pastors, rappers, poetry. I don't know how many recordings I've done over my lifetime. All right. Are we starting to see how this comes together? If you can see how it comes together, go ahead and just type in, I can see it. I can see it. If you can see how this stuff comes together. Also, look, we've cut the length of the audio basically in half. So this was probably about 2 minutes. We're at about 24 seconds, right? So if you can see how this comes together, go ahead and just type, I can see it. All right. Hey man, I can see how that comes together. Right. So now we're going to go into so we don't need the gate anymore. We've cut it out, so we don't need the gate. We put our scraps on this little channel. We can call this channel scraps. And now we can see if we can improve that vocal. We have a compressor on it. All right. I hate to see that, even though I know it's not peaking. All right. So now let's put another EQ on here just to try to make it a little better. Bring up maybe some high. So I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock bands, pastors, rappers, poetry. I don't know how many recordings I've done over my lifetime. All right, so here we go. So now we got that track recording. So now we'll go ahead and just stop this. So I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock bands, pastors, rappers, poetry. I don't know how many recordings I've done over my lifetime. All right, so here we go. So now we got that track recording. So now we'll go ahead and just stop this. So I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock bands, pastors, rappers, poetry. I don't know how many recordings I've done over my lifetime. All right, so here we go. So now we got that track recording. So now we'll go ahead and just stop this. So I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock bands, pastors, rappers, poetry. I don't know how many recordings I've done over my lifetime. All right, so here we go. So now we got that track recording. All right, so we did a quick EQ, and to try to hide some of the breaks, we could put in a little bit of a reverb. We can even do a stereo reverb to try to confuse the brain a little bit on where things start and stop. So I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. Many of you know I owned the recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock bands, pastors, rappers, poetry. I don't know how many recordings I've done over my lifetime. All right, so here we go. So now we got that track recording. So now we'll go ahead and just stop this. I'm just come up. All right, so, and of course, if that's too fast, we could space it out some more. But that little reverb added in a little kind of like artificial reverberant so it doesn't cut so hard versus, I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now I'm recording. Versus without it, I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now I'm recording. You feel that empty quicker versus when I put the reverb on. I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now I'm recording. So those breaks don't sound, you don't really hear the reverb as much, but that reverb just kind of fills the space a little bit. And then if we had background music or something, you wouldn't hear those breaks really at all, especially with a little bit of reverb on there. So I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. Alrighty. Alrighty. Do we have any questions so far? Any questions? Any questions? If you're learning a lot, just go ahead and type in, I'm learning a lot today in class. If you're learning a lot, just go ahead and type that in. I'm learning a lot today in class. I'm learning a lot today in class. Someone just asked, why wouldn't you just move them all the way together? Because it would be too fast. So it's called pacing. Someone said, why wouldn't we just move all of these together? And let's just do that. I'm gonna go to grid. It's gonna automatically snap these together. Or spot. Let's see. Well, oh no, spot won't do it. Will shuffle automatically put them together? Yeah. So let's go to shuffle, and we're just going to automatically put all of these together. And let's see what happens when they are just all back to back together with no spacing at all. And which would be a really, really fast pacing. So let's play it now. I'm just come up here to my edit screen. Now I'm recording. Guys, I'm a recording artist. Look at this. Many of you know I owned a recording studio for many, many years and recorded music, rock bands, pastors, rappers, poetry. I don't know how many recordings I've done over my lifetime. All right, so here we go. So now we got that track recording. So now we'll go ahead and just stop this. All right, so that's what it sounds like when everything is just put together, back together. Certain parts, it sounds good. Like when this part, rock bands, pastors, rappers, poetry. I don't know how many recordings I've done over my lifetime. That part sounds good when it's just kind of that listicle, listen things off. But then other parts where there should kind of be a little bit of a pause for thought. Recordings I've done over my lifetime. All right, so here we go. So now we got that track recording. So now we'll go ahead and just stop this. All right, so on this part, a few little spaces might be helpful. You know, now in this world of CapCut and social media where they do these quick, fast cuts, if you were editing something for social media, you might do, you know, say that there was a visual with this, or maybe even not. You might do these super fast cuts because that's kind of, you know, you have shorter attention span. So you might do these super fast cuts to grab the social media audience versus putting in those spaces. But if you're doing documentary, like I'm thinking documentary style, somebody's sitting there talking, you're going to have these more conversational pauses and time to think about what they said. You know, you're going to have more of these little pregnant pauses there for effect and to contemplate what they said, especially if they said something deep. So where you're cutting your podcast for or your video for matters. If I want a scene, if I'm editing, say, an action movie, you know, I might cut that real fast, dun 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 dun, bam, 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 because I want that action to hit. But if I'm doing a documentary, you know, somebody's in a chair, they're explaining their life and how beautiful it was when they glazed, you know, they glanced across the room, and then they saw how lovely their wife was, right? And you want that to be a moment, right? Versus they glanced across the room, seeing how lovely their wife was, they gave her a high five, and then they got married. It's like, whoa, that's not the pacing for that, right? So what you're cutting matters, where it's going, whether it's social media, which is going to be faster paced, shorter attention spans, or a big screen where certain parts are going to be fast, certain parts are going to be slow. So what you're cutting matters, and what you're cutting it for matters, and where the ultimate distribution is also matters. So certain things you'd cut fast for social media that you wouldn't cut fast for a movie or necessarily for a podcast. So what you're cutting, why you're cutting it, and ultimately where it goes matters. All right. All right, there you go. All right. May says she's learning a lot. Stephanie says she's learning a lot. Shona says she's learning a lot. Awesome. Margaret says, I'm learning. It's like, I don't know if I'm learning all of it right now, but I'm definitely learning. All right, awesome. Great job. Okay, let's go ahead and take 5, guys. I know I've just dumped some great and wonderful information out to you. The pacing right now is to let your brains get a little bit of a break and a little bit of some time, and then we're going to come right back. So it's 2:26. Let's take 7 minutes, and let's be back here at, actually, let's pretend it's 2:27 because it's about to turn 2:27. Let's be back here at 2:34. All right. See you guys in 7 minutes at 2:34.
Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say 2 things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating. New systems, new expectations, new skills. If you've been disappointed by education before, you might wonder, is this going to be different? Yes. This isn't just information, it's transformation through skill. You're about to build things, learn how systems work, and develop the competence that makes employers take you seriously. And makes you take yourself seriously. You didn't choose a place that's playing games. You chose a place built on excellence, legacy, and the future. So again, welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence. We're honored you're here. Take your time, learn the system, ask questions, do the work, and most importantly, believe again. With the right training, the right standard, and the right support, you're going to look back and realize this was the moment. You stopped hoping for change and started building it. Welcome to GSE, where excellence begins. Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say 2 things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating. New systems, new expectations, new skills. If you've been disappointed by education before, you might wonder, is this going to be different? Yes. This isn't just information, it's transformation through skill. You're about to build things, learn how systems work, and develop the competence that makes employers take you seriously. And makes you take yourself seriously. You didn't choose a place that's playing games. You chose a place built on excellence, legacy, and the future. So again, welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence. We're honored you're here. Take your time, learn the system, ask questions, do the work, and most importantly, believe again. With the right training, the right standard, and the right support, you're going to look back and realize this was the moment. You stopped hoping for change and started building it. Welcome to GSE, where excellence begins. Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating. New systems, new expectations, new skills. If you've been disappointed by education before, you might wonder, is this going to be different? Yes. This isn't just information, it's transformation through skill. You're about to build things, learn how systems work, and develop the competence that makes employers take you seriously. And makes you take yourself seriously. You didn't choose a place that's playing games. You chose a place built on excellence, legacy, and the future. So again, welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence. We're honored you're here. Take your time, learn the system, ask questions, do the work, and most importantly, believe again. With the right training, the right standard, and the right support, you're going to look back and realize this was the moment. You stopped hoping for change and started building it. Welcome to GSE, where excellence begins. Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating.
Alrighty, we are back. If you're back, go ahead and type in, I am back. I am back. If you're back, go ahead and type in, I'm back. See if I can get my mic on, guys. There we go. All right, so if you're back, go ahead and type in, I am back. All right, Amberly says she's back. She's back. All righty. Alrighty. All right, Stephanie says she's back. Alrighty. So we're going to do something interesting. Actually, let's see. Excuse me. Let's see here. I want you to be able to maybe be able to see my fingers here. Alrighty. I got the compressor on, so you guys probably hear every little movement, every little sip, everything really, really well, thanks to that compressor. So I think I want you guys to be able to see my fingers here. And I got you, Dr. Horn. I see you. All right. So I want you guys to be able to see my fingers here. So I'm going to, let me think about how I want to do this, because we're going to make an intro and an outro to a podcast. And I want you to be able to see what I'm doing, what I'm playing. So let me see if I can do this a different way. We're going to try something. I don't know if this is going to work, but it's a small possibility that it may work. And we're going to do something exciting here. We're going to see if it will work. Let's see. I'm going to unplug this. Alrighty. So I'm going to try something. We're going to see, guys. We're going to see how these... We're going to see if we can get some multi-angle stuff going on over here. Alrighty. All right, we might be able to get another view here, guys. Let's see. All righty, maybe not. All righty, so I want you to be able to see what I'm doing here, but I'm not sure if we're going to be able to pull it off. So I want you to be able to see what I'm doing with my hands. We may be able to do it. All right, maybe not. We might not be able to pull it off, but we'll see. I don't give up easily. All right, so I'm going to create a new session here. And I want you guys to be able to see. I might just point this camera here at my hands. We'll see. But I want you guys to be able to see as we score really quickly. All right, we may not be able to do it. I'll have to set it up for next week so you can actually see my hands. Create this little top-down shot or something so you guys can actually see what I'm doing with my hands. Because I'm not sure it's going to work otherwise. But we're going to create an intro for our podcast. Okay? Alrighty. All right, I don't think it's going to work. Alrighty, not without taking up too much time. All right, so alrighty. All right, so we're going to make a quick intro in these last 15 minutes here. And for our own podcast. And then next week, I'll show you how I did the intro. Alrighty. So we're going to do a quick intro. Then I'll show you next week how we did the intro. So I just got a new session up here. And we're going to take a look at that new session. Alrighty. I'm going to plug this back in here. All right, so next week you'll be able to see my hands, and you'll be able to see kind of as I play, and you'll be able to catch it. I'm using a much bigger keyboard, but I do have the tiny little keyboard that is in your list. So the list of items, I think I have the keyboard. Keyboard's optional. You don't really need it, but it'll be good to have. But you don't really need it at all. And if you don't know how to play, then, or even rudiment, basic knowledge of how to play, it really won't help you at all. All right, so I'm gonna hit 7 tracks here. I'm gonna tell it MIDI tracks, or actually instrument tracks. It used to be MIDI tracks, but not anymore. And I'm gonna create something really quickly. For our podcast intro. We've made our podcast. I'm gonna come and just do something quick for our podcast intro. So I'm going to go to plugins here, instrument. I'm going to go to expands. Expands is the instrument of choice because it comes default with Pro Tools. You don't have to pay extra for it. So we're going to use it. And to save time, I'm going to just come over and I'm just going to copy this over and over. So I'm just hitting Option if you have a Mac. And if you don't, it's probably just the Windows key. And all I'm doing is just copying this over so I don't have to select it. So I'm going to come to this first. Expands. It's called Beneath the Waves. Let's see how that sounds. I kind of like that. So we're just going to call that synth. And what we're going to do is literally just create a podcast intro, guys. So just come up here, hit the record button, and we're just going to record that. And if we wanted a metronome, so the metronome is the thing that keeps time. All right, I'm going to remove me here so you can see the whole screen. Metronome is the thing that keeps time. All right, I can come up here to tracks, tell it, hey man, give me a click track. And now it should give me the metronome. All right, so if I hit play, I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. If I hit play, that should give us that. And I'm literally just gonna make some cool little intro that you'd begin talking through, right? So if we've been creating podcasts, I'm gonna just make some cool little intro that we would talk through. So here, Let's see. So I'm gonna hit record. Uh-oh. So I recorded on the same channel. Make sure that you switch channels or you'll record over what you just did. So here we go. And I'm going to show you guys how to cheat. I'm going to show you, a lot of times you hear songs, you're like, why does that sound so full? Why does that sound so robust? And the reason it does is because one thing they do, they'll just take that track and they will just duplicate it over and over and over again. And the more they duplicate it, the deeper and richer it sounds. So we're just going to duplicate this. So we're making, we recorded our podcast. Now we're just going to make it sound richer. And then I'm going to do this so that it loops. Alrighty. Now I'm going to, and I'm kind of moving through this. We'll go into more detail about how to do these podcast intros next week. So I have the same sound duplicated on each one of these tracks. To make it sound wider and deeper, I'm just going to change the pad layers. I'm just going to kind of pick tracks here at random here. And we'll go more into details next time. Synth basses, I like that. Matter of fact, I think we may want to make the other one a synth bass too. Yeah, let's see. All right. Oh goodness, that oboe's really high. I want that oboe to be lower. The first thing I'm going to do is, let's go ahead and quantize all of these. Quantize is putting them in timing. So I want to quantize them all. And we'll do a 16th. There we go. All right. And now, when I double click this duplicate, it shows me the note here. But that's really high. I want something like, it's an oboe. We want that low oboe sound, right? Okay, so we want a low oboe sound. So the original key was A1. Now we have our oboe, which is I muted it, which is D4. Oh, that's not our oboe. Where's our oboe? There we go. So maybe we'll make that oboe, and let's see what this other synth is. So these are all, Expands has so many sounds, guys. I mean, it is just crazy the amount of sounds in here. Drum sounds, every kind of sound. You can create all the music you want literally out of Expands. And it's just a stock plugin, so that's crazy. All right, so I can keep from switching back, and I try to make it big so y'all can see, but I'm going to just put them a little bit side by side here. That way I don't have to keep switching back as much. So I can just kind of click back and forth. There we go. All right, so let's hear what we got. Alrighty, so let's add in some other sound for our intro. And I'm thinking about some type of arpeggio. What do y'all think? I'm thinking something maybe with a little arpeggio, or maybe some type of poly synth. So let's see what that sounds like. And we're in the key of A. Let's see. Sounds like the intro to like a movie, like when they're rolling the credits. All right, we're going to right click. We're going to quantize this as well, which will put it in timing with everything else. We'll just put pulsar for the name of this one. And for this one, we'll just do some ambient sound. And we're moving a little quicker just because we're almost at the end of class here. But I wanted you guys to start thinking about this for next week. I'm going to show you guys something cool. You can automate all of your tracks. So let's hit record here. All right, and let's say we wanted that to be our podcast intro. We have the audio. We're going to quantize this really quickly. And then the only thing we need now is just a voiceover. Since we didn't use these tracks, I'm going to go ahead and delete these. We don't need our metronome track anymore. I'm going to pull this down. All right, and I'm just going to add an audio track. Matter of fact, let's add 2 audio tracks, and you'll see why in a second. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to add 2 audio tracks, and we're going to do a normal audio track, and we're going to do a pitch shifted audio track. And we're going to record it. All right, are you ready? We're going to record some type of intro for our podcast here that we've been working on all period. Okay, let's do it. Alrighty, welcome to the GSC podcast. We are on with Margaret, Amberly, Jonah, Dr. Horn. Did I say Margaret already? Stephanie. Who am I forgetting? May. With the entire class on today's podcast. And we just want to thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and share this with 5 people that you want to hear about today's podcast. All right. So say that was our podcast intro. I could take part of that intro, pitch shift it, and let's see how it's going to sound here. Alrighty, welcome to the GSC podcast. We are on with, actually, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to make it like a generic intro. Let's do this, guys. All right, welcome to 1402, the GSE podcast. You're on with Big Boy and Blue. Make sure you stay tuned. See you in a second. All right, so more of just a generic podcast intro here. And we're going to pitch shift this second podcast, this second vocal. Let's hear how it sounds pitch shifted. All right, welcome to 1402, the GSE podcast. You're on with Big Boy and Blue. Make sure you stay tuned. See you in a second. So one is slightly pitch shifts, and it gives it an entire different little feel here versus just the voice. All right, welcome to 1402, the GSE podcast. You're on with Big Boy. Or if you've ever heard them where it's that deep voice, this is how you do it. All right, welcome to 1402, the GSE podcast. You're on with Big Boy and Blue. Make sure you stay tuned. See you in a second. All right, guys, that's our time. Unfortunately, we're going to have to pick this up next week. But great work, everybody. And so excited that you are all learning, that you are all picking this stuff up. And we got some stuff to cover next week, as you can see, some really, really cool stuff. And yeah, I'm going to have a little top-down setup for next week, already ready. So it should be good. Alrighty. So you see me on this green screen back here. What I should have done is dropped out the green screen and put some other little background back here, but now y'all can cut me out and put, like people dancing behind me. So there you go. Maybe that'll be your next project. Cut me out and put some dancing stuff behind me. Alrighty. So glad that you are here and that you're a part of the class. Hopefully you are just learning an absolute ton and on your way to being an incredible audio video engineer. And I'm curious to see which one of y'all can cut me off first and put me on the beach, y'all. Put me somewhere nice with this green screen. All right. I'll talk to you. And the next one, your homework is to create your YouTube video or your Facebook. You can tag me on Facebook or create a YouTube and just dump it in the discussion. So go into the group and just post it into the group, your YouTube link. And I want you to walk me through creating and recording a podcast. So go ahead and make a video on creating and recording a podcast. We did this about 3 weeks ago. But go ahead now with everything you know. You do some Gates. We actually did Billy Graham. We edited a Billy Graham podcast, which is also absolutely awesome. Post that into the group as well. But I want you to create a podcast. I want you to edit it up, sound incredible, start to finish, and walk the audience. It's a how-to video, how to create an awesome podcast. Walk your audience through it as you record and post it in the group discussion. Or if you do it on YouTube, just post the YouTube link in the group discussion. If you do it on Facebook, you can just tag me in it. All right. God bless you guys. Your motivation for today is super, super simple. And it is to stay focused. You control your destiny. No one else controls your destiny. Only you control your destiny. Don't be strayed to the left. There's going to be people that say you can't do it. There's going to be people that says it's too hard. Sometimes you're going to think it's too hard. I'm too young, too old, too rich, too poor, too whatever to achieve. The only thing blocking, we serve a great God that can take Joshua, an 80-year-old man, and conquer nations, right? As far as me and my house, we're going to worship the Lord. This dude was old. Hey, give me the top, So if he can take someone that is old and still conquer, what can he do with you, right? It's mindset. If you believe you can, you can. They didn't stop Josh. They didn't stop Caleb. They won't stop you. You can go as far as you believe you can and not a bit further. So believe you can do extraordinary things and you will. All righty. I will see you guys next week, and I look forward to seeing your homework.
Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This cost